Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. This week, we watched Uncut Gems. I'm Dylan, and joining me, per usual, is Zach, Ben, and Cam. To kick things off and get everybody in the right mood, we're going to go to this week's cocktail, and it's a Gold Rush. It's 2 ounces of bourbon, an ounce of honey syrup, which is honey and water mixed, makes it a little looser, easier to put into a drink, and 3/4 of an ounce of lemon. And this shit slaps, yo. Not a bourbon guy, but it works very well in this drink.
It does. It's pretty sweet, but yeah.
It is, and that's probably why I like it more so than just like an old fashioned where it's absolutely no sweetness.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I would drink this one again. It's pretty sweet, but yeah, I like those types of drinks anyway, so.
It's no appletini, but
Okay, no, appleteenies are actually disappointing. They're not that good.
You had Zach at bourbon and syrup, so
Yeah.
I
I was
don't
there.
think he has anything to say.
I didn't need to hear if it was going to be honey syrup, maple syrup. Didn't matter. I was in.
I will say, if you want an old fashioned that is a little nicer to you, what I usually do is for the maraschino cherries or whatever cocktail cherries or whatever you have, I just get like a little bit of the syrup from in there and mix it into the old fashioned too. It makes it a little nicer.
Oh, so you save the syrup in the jar with the cherries in it? You don't drink it when you get home?
What? Say I
so
drink
you
it?
Drink it?
You don't?
Is this like
You
pickle
drink it
juice?
in the jar?
Do you
I
drink
guess
the
I
pickle
drink it
juice out of
little
the
by
jar?
little.
Dude,
No,
I'll drink
I'm
pickle juice.
I do too.
I'm just saying, like, when I put the cherry into the old fashioned, I make sure to get a little bit of the syrup in there too.
Oh, okay.
With it.
I don't
That's
have any syrup left. I drink it as soon as I get home.
That's
Just lets his cherries go bad in the fridge.
But anyways, for a 3-ingredient cocktail, I really like this one. I think the sweetness does blend really well with the bourbon.
Yeah, it's like a bee's knees, really. Just sub out the gin with the bourbon, which I also love a bee's knees. But this one's a little more into the cocktails and classics meta because it's bourbon.
Well, you know, in cocktails and classics, bourbon is the bee's knees.
Hey,
Hey, this
It's
very
funny.
mildly reminds me of a whiskey sour, like a little bit.
So
Okay.
I actually know the origin of the bee's knees. It was a favorite drink of one of the rulers of ancient
God.
Saigon.
Okay.
His name was Phil.
Okay.
was Joe there?
Candace was actually the bartender that night.
Wow. Good old
Lord.
Candace. Last time I saw Candace was at SockCon.
You guys don't want to ask about ancient Saigon?
No, I'm good.
I know a lot about the roots. I studied it in class.
While you were partying, I studied the Saigon.
All right. So back to talking about Ligma.
Ligma was a real problem back in ancient Saigon.
Yeah, it's fair.
Check the show notes below. Get a Gold Rush recipe from us. Make one. You won't be disappointed. Unless you really hate bourbon, then
If you hate bourbon and you've stuck with us this long, thank you.
you must just really like us and not the drinks.
Or you really just hate yourself. And who knows? I'm not here to judge.
If someone comes over and they say they don't like bourbon, what do?
Send them.
Yes, what you do is you kindly yet firmly ask them to leave.
You asked them if they want to know the history of ancient Saigon.
Watch Uncut Gems. It's on Netflix right now as of recording. We're going to spoil it. So stay tuned. Or don't. Go watch it and then come back. You know the drill. You know the drill. Uncut Gems is a 2019 drama film directed by Benny and Josh Safdie. It stars Adam Sandler, Adina Menzel, Julia Fox, Lakeith Stanfield's in there, Kevin Garnett.
The Weekend.
KG,
He's Canadian, but he's going to be big.
this guy looks like a fool.
It's the story of, with his debts mounting and angry collectors closing in, a fast-talking New York City jeweler risks everything in hopes of staying afloat and alive. Currently sits at a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Wow, it wasn't even nominated for an Oscar?
No.
Sandler got robbed.
Yeah.
Sandman got robbed.
He did win. He won the Spirits, the independent film awards.
He won something that nobody cares about.
I've seen this. I think Zach has seen this, right? Ben, you have not. Cam, you have not?
No.
I held off.
Isn't this the movie that Cam hadn't seen but knew the ending?
Yeah, I knew he got shot in the face.
Did you look up the ending?
No, I think I saw it in a video or something.
Yes, it was like he watched some compilation.
At the beginning of a podcast where Cameron hasn't seen the movies, motherfucker watches a Watch Mojo top 10 and
Surprise
movies
endings.
you didn't see coming.
That's what it was.
This fucking guy.
I mean, for
This
some
fucking
movies
guy.
it
Oh,
saves
guys.
you like
I know how Uncut Gems ends. Oh, great. Oh, luckily there was someone on the podcast who didn't watch that movie and didn't
know
watch
the
the
ending.
Watch Mojo video, so that we could do this movie for the podcast.
the thing. So
and for that,
I was
for
trying
a
to
lot-
remember why we put this one off.
I don't think knowing the ending. I mean, certainly the ending comes as a shock if you don't know it's coming. But
It's one of the 10 most surprising endings, according to Watch Mojo.
But at the same time, I don't think that knowing that that's how that ends detracts from the whole movie. Like, I think for some movies it does. Like, if you haven't seen Seven and you know how it ends, that kind of ruins a lot of it, I feel
Or The
like.
Sixth Sense.
Or The Sixth Sense. Yes, if you know it's in the box and Kevin Spacey's the bad guy the whole time, as we should have known in real life and in the movie.
well, okay.
I
To be
was
fair,
we know Kevin Spacey's the bad guy from like 30 minutes in
Yeah.
on 7.
they never hide that Kevin Spacey is the bad guy. Not
No.
once. He literally walks into the police station and is like, "Hey,
Bloodied, yeah.
I'm the bad guy." There's
didn't,
there's no mystery.
we can't spoil 7. We haven't done it yet.
No, Cam has not seen 7, but
I have
we did
not
tell him
seen
that
it.
there was
Oh
no
my
mystery
God.
to it.
But he did see the Watch Mojo video, so he knows what was in the box.
He's seen
What
it.
were the
Yeah.
other
No,
eight
I just
movies?
feel like that's one of those movie tropes.
You watched
that you kinda just like find
how it should end. What was is that what it's called? The old like
Oh my
animated
God.
series.
How it should end.
How it
series?
should have ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think knowing the ending detracts from watching the movie.
I kind of agreed to that. Like the ending is kind of like holy shit. Like
Like honestly, even when it happened, I was surprised. I was like, "Holy fuck!"
this movie for me, having seen it once before, it still is like it hits some kind of way. Like this movie is what I imagine like a full blown anxiety attack is like,
Exactly, yeah.
because
Definitely nightmare fuel for like 2 hours.
yeah, you're just on edge. Like once the movie was over, I was like, man, my heart rate is like elevated. Like it's still up, and it's not even like me that's at stake. Like I love Howard as a character because he's such a great character. Like you
He's
love
so
to hate
dumb.
him because he's constantly making the wrong choice. Like
Yes.
every second.
Yes.
he
Every
chooses
time
the
he
wrong
gets
thing.
the opportunity to make a decision, he makes the wrong choice every time.
Well, and it's not just like the chance to make a decision. It's like you literally, every time he's given a way out, instead of taking the way out, he's just like, nah,
Double down.
I'm going to swim deeper. Modern day problems require modern day solutions. Like, no, just fucking take the money, pay off whoever you need to pay off, and walk away. Nah, I'm going to take all of this money and bet it.
But that's how he wins.
This is how you.
and
This is how you
twice-
got into trouble.
Yeah, I was gonna say like twice he wins like a way out of it. The first time the bet was called off, and then the second time he wins and gets killed. But it's like, yes, you won, and I mean maybe he's just like addicted to gambling, that aspect of
Oh,
it. But it's
He's
like,
100%.
addicted to the rush. of
yeah,
it
but
all.
it's
Yeah.
like you think you would learn your lesson. You even called Arno and was like, "I have your money, it's here," and instead went and bet your $175,000 on freaking the Celtics.
Kevin Garnett.
Which, hey, if there's a player you bet on, it was the big ticket.
Yeah, I mean, KG and the big three in Boston. It's a pretty
Whoa,
good bet.
whoa. I think we can look back now, and we can officially call it the big four, right?
Are you saying
Who's
Rondo?
the fourth?
All my homies sleep on Rondo like he wasn't the key piece of that fucking team.
Rondo was really good. The problem is the rest of his career has kicked him out of making that the big four.
He was really good when he
Rondo
was
had-
on the
after
Celtics
the-
that
I was to say after the rest of the big three left, like Rondo still carried that team to a couple of wins. I watched him in the Palace. That was pretty hype. I was really excited to watch Rondo. And let's not forget, yes, regular season Rondo, absolute trash. Playoff Rondo,
Very good.
nobody wants to fuck with playoff Rondo.
There's a line early on in the film when KG like first walks in, and Howard asks KG, he's like, who would win in a fight, Ben Wallace or Tony Allen? He's like, TA all day.
Oh, TA.
I was like, damn.
Motherfucker never been to Detroit.
He must have not
Detroit
seen the mouse.
loves Ben
and the Palace.
Wallace.
Guys who haven't seen this movie, like, what is it? What you expected going in?
Yeah. Not in a bad way, though. Like, I feel like everybody describes it like you said. Like, basically like an anxiety attack for like 2 hours. And it was pretty much that. It was so frustrating. I mean, it was like interesting to watch. So like from an entertainment perspective, it was good. But it's really frustrating to watch someone make the just dumbest choices for 2 hours. And then get shot in the face after he wins $1 million.
Or like even when he tries to be like conniving and like smart, it still like bites him in the ass. Like when he's going to the apartment to like check and make sure that Jules left, and like then his son has to pee, and he like is trying to get all the neighbors.
He doesn't want his family coming in to see that there was a woman living there.
Yeah, and then like the kid goes in the neighbor's restroom, and then as they're leaving, the kid's like, "Yeah, he said that there was a really hot girl in your apartment. Was that mom?"
Who was that, Mom?
Jesus.
Nope.
It's like even when he wins, he can't win.
Right. Yeah.
Did you guys recognize the first neighbor? I mean, Adam Sandler's character kind of says it. Oh, this
No.
guy is awesome. He was
I was to say,
in Coming to
he's-
America.
Yeah.
It actually is like the guy, Mr.
I kind
McDowell
of-
from Coming to America.
I kind of figured. So, knowing absolutely nothing, like literally nothing about this movie, I literally kept this movie under a rock, knowing that you guys wanted to do it for the podcast at some point. I avoided this movie like the plague, so I knew nothing about the plot. I thought this movie was a lot more about gambling. Did not know this was really about Adam Sandler's character just being a, how would I phrase it, colossal fuck up.
It's the collapse of man.
So it was not what I was like. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, okay, but like, when do we get more to the gambling? I'm just like, oh wait, it's kind of like that. When do we get to the ride? This is the ride. Yeah, that was kind of the experience when I realized I'm like, well, we're an hour and 10 into this thing. Like, I think this is just what it is.
That is in fact what it was. Yeah.
Seeing the guy who's, everyone thinks of as, the weird fucking noise, talking about weird ass shit in a funny voice, Adam Sandler play this like,
Hubie
This
Halloween,
person-
Adam Sandler,
this
Happy
person
Gilmore.
having like a legit like meltdown time after time after time was just crazy to me. There were times where like I had to sit back and be like, this is the same fucking guy who made fucking Hubie Halloween.
Shampoo is better. The conditioner is
Yeah.
better because it leaves the hair silky and smooth.
Shut up. That's this fucking guy.
Now you're all in big, big trouble. Yeah, we should do
I'm,
Blame Madison next.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was gonna say we should do Punch Drunk Love because that's another serious Sandler role, and he's also really good in that one.
That one wasn't, I think, like Funny People. Didn't he?
Yeah,
get,
that
like,
one's a little
lot
more
of
serious. That's like a Judd
credit
Apatow
for
like
the fact that like
dramedy. Though.
yeah. Well, obviously it was Judd Apatow. Seth Rogen's in it. There's only
my boy
two
Blue.
people. There's only two people that produced and/or directed that movie: Judd Apatow or Seth Rogen.
And Evan Goldberg was there just hanging out.
I'm glad we did a movie recent enough to have Lakeith Stanfield in there because I love him, dude. He's so good.
Yeah, he's so
Just
good.
every
Every
role he's
role. Yeah. I was going to say that too. Every role that I've seen him in recently, he has just been so good. Like he was also in
Judas and the Black Messiah.
yes. That
Sorry
was
to
the one that
bother
I saw
you.
recently. Judas and the Black Messiah. Yeah, he was
He's
very
in
good.
Get Out.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He was in a
Knives
more
Out.
prominent one too recently. That's not either of those.
Wasn't
Knives
he in
Out.
the one about like the?
Knives Out.
Oh,
He wasn't.
no.
Knives Out.
I was gonna say like, wasn't he in? I think it was Sorry to Bother You.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I was really impressed with Kevin Garnett.
That's what I was about
Oh,
to
yeah.
say.
He's
Him,
good.
Yeah,
The
he did a really
Weeknd
good job
did
in
well.
this.
Like all the
Yeah.
bit actors did pretty good as well.
I don't know enough about the week. Like, I'll be honest, I know next to nothing about the Weeknd, so I don't know what he's like in real life. But like, I love when actors play like a parody of themselves.
Yeah.
Like John Mulaney did it in Crashing on HBO, and he just played like he played John Mulaney, but he was just a giant asshole to everyone he met. And it's just so interesting to see people play themselves, but play it like in a different way. So I just thought it was interesting to see like the Weeknd be like, "Now I'm gonna do this coke, and then I'm gonna try to have sex with this girl in the club," and it's just like, I wonder if that's like really how he is, or if he's just like,
Well-
"This is what you guys want me to do." Yeah,
Well, and he's
that
like a
sounds
total
dope. Like,
douche.
so-
He's like, put on the black light. I won't perform without the black lights. And everyone's like, put on the black lights.
Weeknd said in an interview that he was asked, like, how did you come up with the performance? Who did you base it on? And he said, like, I used to be kind of a douchebag back in the day, so that was just myself from a few years ago.
Oh, that's funny.
They also had Trinidad James in there.
And Cash Out. Cash Out was walking around.
I was like, is that Trinidad James? Because Damani like sings like all gold everything or whatever the song is, and I was like, that's Trinidad James song, but is that him? And then I like looked at the headband and he had freaking Trinidad on there. I was like, okay, yeah, it is. It's like he's wearing his own merch.
You gotta get that merch out there.
Listen, Trinidad, we're not going to pay you, but we'll let you wear your headband. All right, dope.
I can make that work.
This movie is so, and the Safdie's other movie that I've seen, Good Time, is kind of the same. Like it's shot very interesting in my mind. It's almost like it's kind of like a documentary. Like it's like mainly handheld, and there's like a lot of these like long zoom shots, and it's like a lot of the shots just kind of feel like the camera is like in the room, like in the middle of these conversations, and I feel like maybe that kind of adds to some of the like anxiety because it's like just if the camera just feels like it's like put in this room while this is all happening. Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it was like, I mean, obviously it probably was like well thought out, but it doesn't feel that way in the end.
Yeah, I think the best example is when Damani gets pissed at Sandler and he goes in the back safe looking for his watches and they're all gone. And then Sandler gets the call from his what is it called? A proctologist? Who's the dude that looks in your butt?
Yeah, I think it's proctologist.
So Sandler's like on the phone, on speakerphone with the doctor. You can tell the doctor's having a horrible time. He's like, "Are you cursing at me?" Damani's pissed. He ends up dumping that shit in his fish tank. That's an extremely stressful scene, and I think a lot of it is what you're talking about. The camera shaking back and forth, like over
like it's like
Sandler's
panning
shoulder.
here, panning here, panning here, like,
Exactly, yeah.
and then like finally sets up and like Damani's in the background like pouring the drink in the fish and stuff.
I felt bad for those fish.
It's like the camera's like the only time you actually breathe in this movie is the like one scene where Howard like takes out the trash. And even then I was like, are the guys gonna like show up and whoop his ass like right in front of his house?
Yeah.
There was another one too where it was like almost kind of close to the end where he shows up to his pawn shop or whatever, like bloody, and he kind of just like sits down and is like taking stock of everything for a second. Yeah, you don't really get a chance to relax in this one for sure. Like if you blink, like you'll miss so much, just like stuff. Like if you were to like, I don't know, for some reason walk away from this movie for like 2 minutes during the movie, you'd be like, wait, what the fuck? I thought he won the bet. No. He fucked it. No, wait, what? Oh, he got the gem hit back. He's gonna be cool, right? No. He freaked that too. What?
So I mentioned this before we started recording, but apparently when this was originally written, they wrote it for, I believe, Amari Stoudemire, famous New York Knick, which would make more sense in the script. and then I think they changed it to Kobe Bryant, and Kobe was trying to get into like directing and producing, and he made that the short film that won an Oscar. And then they were like, "Well, we'll do it in the modern day," and so we're gonna get Joel Embiid from the Sixers to do it, but he had no time because he's a professional basketball player. So then they finally like landed on KG, and he was like interested in the spot.
So I feel like KG works, Stoudemire works. Joel Embiid, I understand. You have the fact that like he's literally playing professional basketball. There's not really time for him to shoot a movie. Unless you do the whole like Space Jam thing where you're like, we're going to film the movie in the off season and build Michael Jordan his own basketball court. I feel like, well, obviously Amari works. He's in New York. The movie takes place in New York. I feel like it would have been a different movie if that movie takes place in LA.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
I don't know if
feels
it
more
works.
rushed. LA
And I
always seems
also-
more laid back.
Well, I also just think like them being in LA, one, you have to write it so it's not the playoffs because it makes no sense that LA's in New York for a playoff game. You can't really do anything with that.
I mean, it would have to be like the finals.
Yeah. But you'd have to make it up.
Yeah,
It'd be
but
like-
then you have to literally, you have to do all of the game footage in that from a finals that doesn't exist.
Which is maybe why they went with like Amari and like KG and stuff, because they had like some finals or some playoffs.
Well, and not just that, but like everything there is on the East Coast. So where it's like, oh, Philadelphia is like 2 hours away, so it's not really a big deal to get there.
So
Could
if
you
they
imagine
moved-
if it was like LA and they're playing like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another team that would have been good. Like, knowing them, it would have been like LA San Antonio. It's like, oh, San Antonio is only like a 9-hour flight from here.
Yeah, the only way it works is if you put the movie in 2010. The Lakers did play the Celtics in the finals, and that went to like a dramatic Game 7. But I don't know, the Kevin Garnett's play in the movie mirrors the pace of the movie. Like, he does well, Adam Sandler does well. He plays poorly, Adam Sandler gets the hell beat out of him. He does well at the end, and it's all over. I don't think Kobe had that.
The other thing you could have done with Kobe is had him be on the East Coast during like the regular season. But I think the fact that this movie takes place during like a playoff series is also there to like KG's not able to miss the game because you're in it. You can't just miss a game for the playoffs. Like once you're there, it's a different game. Like it's a different world. And so like that kind of feeling of like not only is the pressure on for Adam Sandler's character, but like KG's legit under pressure because it's the playoffs. You can't have a bad game in the playoffs or you won't keep going forward.
This is the movie with the most F-bombs, right? Or just like curse words in general?
It's not
Really?
the
It
movie
didn't
with
seem
the
like it
most
was that
F-bombs.
much.
Oh, I don't know. There was literally a scene where I feel like Adam Sandler says to Julia, I'm gonna fuck you. And I think he says it like 7 times in a matter of like 2 minutes. Like when he's giving her the money to go make the bet. Like within like that minute out the window, I'm pretty sure he says something about with the F-bomb like every 2 words is
Interesting.
an
I'll
F-word.
say I know for a fact it's not the movie with the most F-bombs.
Oh, he knows something.
I mean, Wolf of Wall Street is up there. It's probably
it
Wolf of
is.
Wall Street and then Uncut Gems or something. Yeah. So Wolf of Wall Street is first, and then second is Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Casino's in third.
Well, there goes Zach's trivia question. There's obviously a reason he said he knows.
Well, I know, but I know we talked about that earlier. I forget what movie we were talking about when we were talking about all the F-bombs. Was it
It
Hubie
was a
Halloween or
Tarantino
something?
movie. I don't know. I feel like it was Reservoir Dogs or something like that.
Oh, it might have been that.
Yeah, it may have been something like that.
I do remember us having this exact conversation about how
Yeah.
many.
Or maybe Goodfellas.
Oh, that might be it.
I bet you it was Goodfellas. That makes sense.
I thought it was funny when he was like trying to get back with his wife, and his wife was like, "You are so annoying. No,
I
your
hate
face
you."
is so stupid." If I could have my way, I would never see you again.
Yeah.
That was great. Adina Menzel was so good there. She had me going too. I'm like, all right, this is gonna work out, and then you hear that laugh, and it's like, oh no, my heart just broke for this guy, even though he's definitely a douchebag.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. There's no love lost there for sure.
Yeah, something about this movie is like it has you feeling for Howard, but at the same time, you know he's not a good guy, and you don't
like
really
when he's trying to
need
like
him to win.
connect with his daughter. It's like, oh like
God.
I just
Oh,
wanted to
just
say I
checking
was
in.
like super proud of you. Just wanted to check in. She's like, Dad, you've already told me 5 times. Well, I just in case you didn't know, how are you? I'm
Yeah,
fine.
she knows you're a loser, bud.
Yeah. She's like immediately leaves the room and goes back to her phone call.
Not only that, but like she's probably of the family old enough to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like
Well, and
the,
then-
the middle
is it
middle child,
Eddie?
I think, is like Benji.
No, Benji's the kid,
Benny.
I think. Eddie is, I think, his middle son.
Oh, is Eddie
yeah.
the middle one? Yeah, Eddie's like catching on. He's getting to the point where like he's figuring out what's going on. But
The issue is that he still like kind of looks up to his dad though, because he's like, oh yeah, like I've been watching these games. I got 7 players on here. He's like betting with
Oh,
his
it's a
friends.
heartbreaking scene. When Eddie's talking about his friend, he's like, yeah, this dude owes me like $50 if KG, pulls out this win. Sandler's like, yeah, your dad bet a lot on this game. And the look that the kid gives to Sandler just breaks your heart because he's grown up to be the same exact person.
Yeah. Like, oof, don't know.
I looked up the value of a black opal,
Mm-hmm.
and they can go up to like $10,000 a carat.
Wow.
So the fact that his is like appraised so low is like insane. I was like, wow,
He
okay.
didn't have time to get it appraised, man.
I mean, it did get appraised apparently by
Well, by
the guy at Adley's.
the auctioneer's bullshit.
Yeah. Freaking
Yeah, that's
shady auctioneers.
unfortunate.
Man, it's facts like that knowing it, just those are the things that make you feel for Howard Ratner in the movie. You're like, wow, this guy does sometimes actually get dicked over. Some things are actually not his fault.
But at the same
he's in
time-
control to take him out of the scenario, definitely.
Right.
He didn't have to be there.
Well, it's funny
When
because
he gets there,
I feel like Kevin Garnett makes a really good point where he's like, you paid those poor people $100,000 for something you thought was worth $1 million. Like, are you serious?
good classic excuse. Well,
But
but
that's-
it's a lot of money to them.
But that's how we got the
That's how I win.
famous meme. Yeah.
That's how
This
I
is
win.
This is
I
how I
win.
win.
It's like, and he's like, wait, what? Like, okay.
Man, something that I learned doing research into the movie. That scene when KG first comes into the jeweler's office and he's like consistently leaning on the glass. Howard asks him, hey, KG, please don't lean on the glass. Don't lean on the glass. And then at a certain point, you hear Howard in the background like, KG, I told you not to lean on that glass. And then, boom, glass breaks. KG falls through. His people are all over him. To film that, so everybody knew the glass was going to break, but they put a remote-controlled explosive into the glass
Yeah.
and then didn't tell anybody when it was going to go off to get that like surprise
Yeah.
reaction. How many waivers do you have to sign putting an explosive inches away from Kevin Garnett's arms?
Probably not
Well,
many. Because it's not like a
he's
big. It's like a
retired now.
squib.
Yeah, it's fine. He was retired.
Well, no, but like it's like a squib. It's not like gonna like be a big explosion. It's just like enough pop to break the glass.
It could be, though.
Squib is what Professor Filch was, right? In the Harry Potter series?
Yes. It's also
what?
like a squib is a non-magical person in Harry Potter,
Oh.
and so
Slightly magical.
the like caretaker, like the dude with a cat in Harry Potter.
I know
you
who Finch is.
Filch.
Filch.
Filch. Same
Yeah,
thing.
he's a
This
squib.
Finch is-
motherfucker says he knows who Finch is, like he fucking understands.
Finch,
Calls him Aaron
Filch. I'm
Five
just saying, I know who the character you're referencing is.
Okay.
I just
Finch,
didn't know what the fuck that
Finch
word
slept
was.
with Stifler's mom.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean squibs are what they use like when you're doing like a gunshot gag. You'll put a squib like in between like the shirt and the person, and you'll put something behind the squib, so like then it like explodes out with like blood, like so it looks like when they're shot.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you probably do something like that. I mean, it's probably also like sugar glass as well.
Oh, I'd imagine it has to be. There's no fucking way you're getting away with using real.
Sugar glass is a lot more fragile. Like it'll break a lot easier. This one movie we were like had like a it's like is it safety glass? Is that what I'm thinking of? Where it like when it breaks it like goes into like small
Yeah.
pebbles. We did that
Yeah,
on
I
a
know what you're
movie,
talking
and there was
about.
like the gag was like breaking it with a chair, and that shit was so hard to break. Like the actor was like they put a nail in the bottom of the chair's like leg and everything to even try and like break it, and they
Wow.
had to like get it like a tiny crack, and then he was able to do it. So I mean, maybe they had to have something a little bit bigger if they were working with something like that safety glass to like break it for somebody leaning on the counter. But that's so weird because that's like the first thing everyone does when you go into like a jewelry store is lean on the counter.
And
Yeah.
that's the first thing you get told is please don't lean on the counter.
How about Arno? He's somewhat like forgiving when Howard wins at the end.
Borderline proud?
Yeah, like he's like he did it, but then the muscle just fucking shoots him right in the head, and then shoots Arno when Arno's like, "What are you doing?"
Right. Arnold's like, what the fuck? Why'd you do that? He just got us like all this money, and he doesn't care.
No, and then robs the place,
Right.
kill
He's
your
like,
boss
Fuck this. I'm done.
and the other guy, and then rob the place.
He had just had enough at that point. I feel like he was like, fuck this. Fuck you. I'm done. I'm taking this shit. We're going.
I mean, I kind of get it. Like Howard's like been a rat the entire time, but like it's also kind of Arno's fault though. Like,
But like Howard's been a giant like dick to the muscle the entire time.
yeah,
Just kind of
Yeah.
like you're not going to do anything, so I'm just going to keep antagonizing you. And then at the end they're like, "You know what? Fuck you."
I mean, these dudes are connected, and you locked them in between two glass doors in like, I don't know, 8 square foot room, 3 adult males, like
for an entire basketball game.
an entire
Yeah.
basketball game. Like walking around shit talking him the whole time. And maybe he wasn't shit talking. He was cheering on the game, but at the same time, you take that as an insult, you know? When you're a fully grown man locked in bulletproof glass, you take that personally.
I mean, I don't know why he let them back in there to begin with, though.
Yeah. Why did he think it was over? Why did he think that was it?
I mean, I think he trusted what's his face to not like kill him. When he was like, I got your money, basically. We just saw it. We all just saw it.
Yeah, but I feel like you would have tried to work a deal to be like, when the money gets here, like we're even, right? We're good.
Right, yeah. Instead of
Like,
being like,
your
oh, it's
money
good.
over
Everybody come out now. The dude with the gun can come out, too. No, nothing's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of dumb. He thinks it seems like he thinks he's invincible, too.
Yeah.
Like, he makes 2 fucking parlay bets and wins both. Huge, which is insane.
I mean, the
In and
first
of
one is a
itself.
little ridiculous, like the 6-way parlay, but the
Yeah.
other one was only 3.
I had to look up what a lightning bet is. You guys familiar with the term
No.
lightning bet?
I also looked it up.
So it's basically it's $1,000 bet based on the projected point differential. So like if the Celtics were projected to win by 1 point, but they won by 2, Howard would have won $1,000. However, if they tied, Howard would have lost $1,000, and it continues to go up or down
Oh, my God.
for every single point.
Like, the wider
So
the
$1,000
differential.
a point.
So if they win by 20 more than what was expected, Howard wins 20 grand. But if they lose by more than 20 grand or 20 points, yeah, it gets wild. Dude, the opening tip, if you bet on an opening tip,
That's so stupid.
Just give me your money. I'll send half of it back to you.
But he made both of them with the opening tip, because the second one he does the opening tip, the game, and combined points and rebounds higher than projected.
Dude was confident. He booked a helicopter flight for his
Yeah,
mistress
it's like
to
the
go to
Uber
a
of
casino.
helicopters.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like,
how
what
the
the
hell does
fuck's
that
a
happen?
blade?
How do you get... Is that possible in the world we live in to get an aircraft to show up in New York and pick
mean, I
you
think
up
that's
and
what
take you
that
somewhere?
is.
That's a
right?
real thing. Blade is a real thing.
Whoa. First time I saw the movie, I swore he said plane, to which I was really confused when there was a helicopter that showed up. But if Blade is a service,
Yeah.
Wow,
It
I gotta
is.
know what they
It is.
charge.
a service,
Blade.flyanywhere.com.
Yeah.
They have helicopters and planes.
Well, Zach, if you have to ask, you probably can't afford it.
Yeah, I just want to know.
It says travel by helicopter between Manhattan and area commercial and private airports. It says charter your own
life.
flight between Manhattan and any area airports on your own time on a 6-seat helicopter. Shared pricing between $795 and $995.
Yeah, I'm looking at the thing, and it's like some of their news and updates. Hamptons packages, Nantucket weekend.
I think I see where this is going.
It's a little out of our price range, but if people buy enough Surfside Sips, we might be able to afford one blade between the four of us. Or sponsor us. Blade, sponsor us.
We'll head to Manhattan. We'll blade down. Hit up that whiskey trail.
The only blade we can afford is some roller blades.
Got 'em.
Still got my Heelys.
We're going to hit up some ads. And then we're going to come back, and Zach's going to put us through a little trivia quiz. We probably spoiled some of it, but I'm sure he's got more for us. So this week's podcast is brought to you by Surfside Sips. They make high-impact glass straws. They're a family-owned company. And what's better than saving the turts, you know?
The turds.
The turds.
You know, I'm one of those people who hates using paper straws. Paper straws fucking
Paper straws suck.
I
They are
love
the worst
what
solution.
they do. I love that we're minimizing the use of plastic straws. I enjoy that. Paper straws suck ass.
They suck. They're the worst possible solution because turns out, guess what? Paper and water don't fucking mix, okay? I don't know who came up with it, but it doesn't work. Even though they put coating on it to try and help, it doesn't work. It just gets soggy and you end up throwing it away anyway, and that's just more waste. And so,
But you know what doesn't get soggy? Glass.
yeah.
Glass straws from Surfside Sips. And if you want to get some glass straws from Surfside Sips, you can use coupon code cocktails and classics spelled out. That's cocktails AND classics for 20% off your order.
And if you're looking for a business to support during this time, seems like a good idea.
A little bit of a tradition around here is Zach takes over, puts us through a trivia quiz. So Zach, what do you got for us on Uncut Gems?
I have a couple good ones for you guys. We will get the ball rolling with question number 1. Howard Ratner's home was reused on the set of which movie? A. Bohemian Rhapsody, B. Get Out, or C. Lady Bird? So this would be Howard Ratner's home, not his apartment.
I'm going to say
You said it's the same apartment?
same house.
No, it's the home. They reused the home in a different movie.
I'm going to say that it was Bohemian Rhapsody.
I'm also going to say Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yep, make that 3 for Bohemian Rhapsody. Only movie I've seen, so that's the reason I'm picking that one.
You haven't seen Get Out?
I don't think I've seen Get Out.
Wow.
You gotta see Get Out.
It's a good movie.
What's his face is in it?
Lakeith
Keith Stanfield.
Yeah, like
Stanfield.
yeah. Just said his name. Okay. Well, that is correct. It was Bohemian Rhapsody.
I was going to say, I know where Get Out filmed, and Lady Bird was not in a mansion.
So that leaves us in the same spot. We get a 3-way tie. Question number 2. How much did Uncut Gems make on its first day of wide release? So A24 typically does like small releases first. This would be like the first release to the public.
Are there
I
options?
guess I have to give you the options, don't I?
Okay, I was
That
going to
would
say.
be nice. Thank you.
A, $3 million. B, $4.5 million. Or C, $6 million.
Yeah, they usually do, like, I thought just LA and New York, but
I'm going to say the lowest amount. $3 million, right? I'm going to say $3 million. I feel like it wasn't that big right when it came out, but I don't know.
I'm going to go with the 4.5 just to be different, so that way I don't lose. But I could see it being the 3 because I didn't realize this movie came out in 2019. I remembered it blowing up like right at the beginning of the pandemic when it was on, I think when it first came to like Netflix. I remember it being like just huge.
Man, that was the beginning of the pandemic. Wild.
No, it was definitely bigger before then. I also kind of want to say 4.5 or 6. I don't know. I feel like it had a bit of a hype train going in because everyone was like, "Ooh, a basketball player and the Sandman and Adina Menzel." I'm gonna say 6 million. I think it did better than we were expecting.
Well, that is correct. I had to fudge the numbers a bit. It's just over 5.9 million, but I really needed the numbers to be right for this one.
Nice.
Yeah, this was A24's biggest movie at the time. I think it's been surpassed by them, but this was their biggest hit so far. Question number 3. So we have Dylan in the lead with 2 points, Ben and Cam with 1 apiece. Question number 3. Yusi is played by a real-life jeweler, Maksud Agajani, who was embroiled in a social media spat with which rapper over a bracelet in 2018? A. Travis Scott, B. Tekashi 69, or C. Juice WRLD?
Man,
I feel like Juice WRLD, if I recall correctly, he seemed like a nice enough guy.
Apparently this guy's a really big jewelry designer
Interesting.
in New York.
I mean, it might be where like kind of like drew some inspiration from for like Howard, because that was like Howard's big thing was like he was like all in like the rap game with like the Furbies and shit.
Yeah.
That was almost a trivia question, is how much those Furbies cost, but A24 sells them. So I thought the
Really?
numbers would get confusing. You can buy it for like $250 if you really want one.
They auctioned like the real one from the movie, I remember, because they did like a whole thing during the pandemic, and they were like auctioning off a bunch of like memorabilia from like A24 movies. They had that. They had like I think the KG jersey and like his ring and stuff that they like used as props in the movie. I guess I'll go first since I'm leading. So you said Travis Scott, Juice WRLD, or Tekashi 69?
You got it.
I'm gonna say Tekashi. Guy's kind of a shithead, so
Kind of. Convicted of underage
Please
rape.
don't come at us, Tekashi 69.
I'm gonna start some Twitter beef with Tekashi
Why
at
would I
Cocktails
That was
Class
weird.
on Twitter. Come at
We
us.
welcome you to come on the podcast, but no snitches.
Damn. I'm going to say Travis Scott.
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna say Travis Scott. I feel like it was not Juice WRLD, but it could be Tekashi.
No, Juice WRLD was a really nice guy, by all accounts. He was a really kind person that was taken from the world too soon. Unfortunately, the opposite of Juice WRLD, Tekashi 69, was the dude who got in
makes
deep
sense.
beef. Which, thank God that Dylan won that, because I had a tiebreaker, but I came up with it last minute. I did not want to use it.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Good.
Congrats, Dylan.
Thanks.
Big
man.
win.
Die in a hole, Dylan.
Thanks, Cam.
I hope your right ear falls off.
Not the exact question, but I said rounding to the nearest 100, how many times is the word fuck used in Uncut Gems? Just that word in particular. So what we were talking about includes all derivatives earlier, but it is 408 direct uses of the F-bomb
Wow.
in this movie.
Good God.
Yeah.
That's
It is
true.
the
You know,
fourth
there is a
most
lot
all-time.
of like background chatter that I feel like you just don't really pick up as much. And I could see that being a source of a lot of those. Like you're focused on Howard, but in the background there's people like arguing all the time. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, constantly swearing in that pawn shop or jewelry store.
I think
What
it's
a weird
pawn
setup,
shop.
by the way.
No,
You
it's a
gotta,
jewelry
get
store.
buzzed in
No,
and
it's a
then punch
jewelry
in.
store.
He goes
Yeah,
to
it's
a
not
pawn
a
shop.
pawn
though,
shop.
where he
okay.
takes the
He
ring.
pawns the Celtics ring,
Yeah, yeah.
but he owns a jewelry. I don't think he would be doing that well for himself if he were a pawn shop.
No, I mean, it seems like he's not really doing that well for himself since he's selling
Well,
watches
know,
that
his
fell
house
off
is
the back
nice.
of the truck.
but he's got a nice house.
It's got
And
an
he has
apartment.
a pretty nice fucking apartment in New York City.
Yeah, we're
And a
in New
young
York.
girlfriend who
Yeah, she doesn't work. Well,
bangs
she works for him.
rappers
For
and
him.
sells them stuff.
I don't
No,
know
no,
if
they
she
were just
actually
doing
bangs
coke.
them.
Oh, she was.
No, I think she just
she
deals
was a
them
minute
coke.
away from banging the weekend.
Yeah, she like
No, I think
she
it
also,
seems
like,
like she
pushes, like,
uses
jewelry
it seems like
and
she
cars and
uses
stuff.
her. It seems like she uses her youngness and sexuality to sell things to these people. I don't
Yeah.
know if she actually has sex with them.
because she's
I
like
mean,
to the weekend. She was
did
like, no
feel the
touchy.
weekend's cock.
She did feel the weekend's penis. That's true.
Penis.
But we don't know if they actually had sex.
They did. Well, she swears they did not. So
They were
Right.
just doing coke.
And for what it's worth, that's
They were
not a
just
good
doing
thing to do
coke.
what she
I
did.
mean,
However,
coke.
she does seem weirdly into Howard. Like, got his
Well,
name tattooed on
I
her
think
butt.
the weekend couldn't feel his face when he was with her,
Yeah, they were doing too much blow.
and he loved it. That's a weekend
Good
song, right?
one. Yep. Yep.
I
That song's
hate
about cocaine, so
everything you choose to be.
kill me.
It's a fun fact. They cast The Weeknd because he was in town in New York City around that time, when they would have been doing the filming, or in the time period this is set in. He would have been playing in a small club like that.
Yeah,
But
2012.
they try to keep the entire thing like really well set into the actual timeline.
Those of us who have seen it, we wrote down our ratings based off memory and nostalgia. We're gonna tell you if our ratings have changed or not. But Cam and Ben, you guys got to go first. Give us those initial, fresh ratings. What did you think of Uncut Gems?
Yeah, so this is the first time I've watched the 2004 stoner comedy movie Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
This is the first time Cam saw the first 135 minutes of Uncut Gems or whatever it is.
It's like 2 hours and 2:15, I think.
Yeah, 2 hours and 14 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I think it's a pretty like visceral experience, so much as there's a lot going on the entire time, but it definitely makes you feel something, and that something is definitely anxiety. It's pretty crazy from start to finish. And if you don't know the end is coming, it is like very sudden. You're like, oh, I guess this movie's over. And honestly, even when I knew he was gonna die, but it even caught me off guard knowing that, because it literally just like happens. Like he just like gets shot in the face. Like you don't even really see it coming at all. I think I want to give it like an 8. I guess it's pretty good. Definitely recommend watching it. Do I think he should have won Best Actor for it? No, but I mean, he was pretty good. This is a pretty good departure of his from his normal stuff. That's for sure.
I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. It didn't really knock my socks off, if I'm being honest. I will say Adam Sandler was phenomenal. Like, I was shocked at times that, like I said, I had to pull myself away and be like, this is the same dude who made his money as the opera singer on Saturday Night Live, and
Cantina Boy.
now he's just like this. Like, he's doing acting that you feel it. You feel when he's like breaking down, and you feel he plays a character well enough that you feel bad for him, even though you know his character is a piece of shit. And that's impressive. That's phenomenal. I haven't seen a lot of the other ones, but I agree. I think Sandler probably earned at least a nomination for that role. But overall, the rest of the movie just, I don't know. I felt like there was more that was supposed to happen. Like, it just kind of felt like it was like, oh, I need to get this opal. Okay, cool. Where's the opal? Oh, he still has it. Okay, we have to wait. And then by the time he gets the opal and sells it, it's just kind of like, we waited 2 hours and 14 minutes for something that I feel like should have just, like, could have been told to me in a 5-minute story. And I know there's other stuff that happens, but this movie just kind of like, at times I was like, I get what's going on, but I feel like we could have done some other stuff or told more of a story. But I did enjoy it. Like, I liked it. Like you said, it's an anxiety trip. You feel like nervous, like something could happen, especially after he sees the goons at the school. You feel like something could happen at any minute. Like, anytime he makes a turn, there could just be someone there. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, it wasn't the best movie I've seen. It's in my mind, not up there with some of the other movies that we've seen that have earned, between 8 and 10s. But it was still good. I'd recommend people check it out.
Going in, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think I'm going to bump it up to a 9. This movie just makes me feel some type of way. Increased heart rate, super anxious. You're rooting for Howard, even though he's just constantly screwing up. He's annoying. He's ratty. Always making the wrong choices, but for some reason, Adam Sandler creates this like mesmerizing character who you do want a good outcome for. Because at the end of the day, I feel like, he knows that he's like fucked up and makes bad choices and just nothing is going right. The scene where, when you guys mentioned it, where he's just breaking down and he's like, I fucked up. Like, I'm fucked up. The whole thing, like, and I can't go for help. And it's just like, you have that thing, but then immediately after it, he's freaking bets on KG again. Like, God, come on. The cinematography is really interesting. I feel like the handheld stuff really adds to the stress factor. The long zoom ins on shots just really build tension. KG does a good job. I feel like you kind of don't expect much from an athlete turned actor, but I think he does well enough, and I don't think he was like trying too hard or phoning in at any point. I think it's really good. I know one of the things that we were doing was like, is it a classic? Is it not? And I do think this is sort of like an instant classic. I think this is one that will be talked about for years to come. And definitely one that pushes towards the forefront of Adam Sandler's like repertoire and his credits list.
They say comedic acting is like the hardest thing to do. And if you can do it, then you can start branching into other things. And I think we see that. It doesn't always go well. We'll see comedic actors. Like Will Ferrell is one that I think is hilarious in every comedy he's in. But he also has some really good dramas he doesn't get credit for. This is going to be Sandler's version of that. We're going to look at this in a few years and really start to notice how big of an Oscar snub that it was. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. This movie came out, instantly fell in love with it. Not just because Sandler's in it and he kills it, but there's not many movies that make you feel a certain way and do it this well. The only reason I don't give it a 10 is one, you can't watch this movie all the time. This movie is too stressful. It's part of what makes it good. It's too anxiety-inducing, like we said, to, throw it on the weekend when it comes on TNT in 5 years or something. Nobody's going to do that.
You guys really want to kick back and watch Uncut Gems? It'd be so funny.
Hey, let me just throw on Uncut Gems real quick.
Start with one beer. By the time it finishes, you're like 10 beers deep because you're so stressed out.
Oh, yeah. Your goal is just to get drunk enough to where you can't follow it anymore. I don't know what this movie could have done better. I think that's one of the things that it really has going for it. Sandler's great. Idina Menzel is fantastic. It's kind of a bummer we don't get more of her in the movie, but she is a side character. Arno, watching him go from the badass loan shark to all of a sudden, like the reveal when you find out he's Howard's brother-in-law is like a very casual drop that blows your mind. And then him coming through at the end, like there's a lot of great character arcs that surround Howard, who has no character arc. And I love the dynamic in this movie. So I don't think it's not going to get a 10. I'm going to leave it at a 9, but I feel really good about that 9.
I will say the one scene I think that gave me anxiety more than almost any other is when they're fighting in the cab.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Because, like, I just... like, you see those situations in real life, and you're always like, should I say something? Like, no, don't get involved. Like, stay away. Like, it was like that, but it just... Instead of, like, just keep your head down and keep walking, you just had to sit and watch it.
Check the show notes below. Make a gold rush. Send us your pictures at Cocktails and Classics Pod on Instagram. Tell us what you think. And as always, watch responsibly.